Good day, my dear students. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to Ma Dinish's Google Classroom. I'm Miss Roshna. Hope you all might have followed the instructions I gave in the classroom. So you all have read the chapter and might have gone through the YouTube video. Now, most of you might have an overall idea about the chapter. Now I will explain to you the summary of the chapter. There will be two videos for this chapter and this is the first part. So the short story, The Fun They Had, was written by Issac Asimov. Let's look about author. Issac Asimov. Issac Asimov was an American writer and professor of biochemistry at Boston University. He was known for his works of science fiction and popular science. Asimov was considered one of the big three science fiction writers during his lifetime. Asimov's most famous work is the Foundation series. Asimov also wrote mysteries and fantasy as well as much of non-fiction. So we can see that Asimov was one among the famous science fiction writers during his lifetime. So that interest to the science fiction can be seen in this story also. In this story also, he adds a pinch of science. The short story, The Fun They Had, is about the future schools, things which are likely to happen in future. In the text, you can see the image stating schools of future. I would rather say this as a coincidence. I can no longer say these are something which is likely to happen in future because much of these things are being experienced by you and me right now due to the pandemic. In the picture, you can see learning through computers. Students, I cannot say it as a future school experience. Right now, we are in such a situation. Another image shows the virtual classroom where you converse with your teacher through your electronic devices. Another image you can see is the moving e-text. Moving e-text might not be a new experience for you guys right now. This moving e-text means the text on screen, which can be your laptop, which can be your smartphone or system, anything. Next, at last, it's a robotic teacher. For God's sake, you haven't experienced it till right now, but I can say that the time is not too far. You might, in your future, will have a robotic teacher. In the short story, we have got 5 characters. First one is Tommy. Tommy is a 13-year-old boy. And next, it's Margie. Margie is an 11-year-old girl who hates school. Tommy and Margie are the two main characters of the short story. And then we have Mrs. Johns, that is Margie's mother. Towards the end and in the middle section, we can see the appearance of Mrs. Johns. And we have County Inspector, County, that's County Inspector. He is a round, little red-faced man who fixes Margie's mechanical teacher. Towards the middle of the chapter, we can see County Inspector coming to Margie's home and fixing Margie's mechanical teacher. And we have mechanical teacher as a character. Mechanical teacher, here I have given an image of a robot, but I cannot say that Robert is a mechanical teacher of Margie. Mechanical teacher, at one point she says that it's very big screen and all. That's what mechanical teacher for Margie is. So these are the 5 characters in this story, The Fun They Had. Now we just move into the summary. Let's move to the summary. The story starts with a diary entry of Margie and it is dated as 17th May 2157. That's almost a century, more than a century from now, that is 2020. She wrote, "Today Tommy found a real book." So the story is centering around Tommy and Margie. On this day mentioned, which is that day, that is 17th May 2157, Tommy found a real book which has been printed on paper. He found this book from the attic of his house. So the story begins with the diary entry of Margie, and the story is taking place in the year of 2157. During that time, from the very first line itself, we can understand that the girl having seen the book which we use right today or now. So with a great awe, Margie is saying that Tommy had found a real book and it is printed on paper, and he had found this book from the attic of his house. Attic is simply the storeroom, okay? They found that, they means Margie and Tommy, they found that this book was different from their books on television screen. The pages of this book were yellow and crinkly, and it looks funny for them as the words stood still instead of moving the way it was supposed on a screen. So here you might come across a new word, that is crinkly. So this book which they found was yellow and crinkly. Crinkly means with many folds and lines. You have to think that this book actually was from a very centuries back, and for them it looks like funny because the words are standing still on the paper. For them, for their textbook, or for them, the letters are always moving because Margie and Tommy are experiencing with moving e-text, and they haven't seen a book. It's the first time in their life they are seeing a real book on paper. They felt that this book as waste because one had to throw the book when it's over. In the year of 2157, this kind of book doesn't exist anymore. Tommy and Margie had got a million of book in their TV screen. So first, they find it as very funny because the letters are not moving as they are supposed on a screen. And next thing what they felt is that they found that this book as waste because according to them, when you finish that book, you have to throw away that book. So it's a waste for them. For them, their books are always there on TV screen. They have to throw away their book because it's always there in the TV screen, and the TV screen has got a million of book, not one or two. While reading, Tommy says that the book it is telling about school. Margie was scornful. She hates school and cannot understand why someone would write about it. She was having problems with learning geography from her mechanical teacher. So the book they found, which actually existed centuries back, Tommy says that it is about school. In that book, it's written about school. Margie was scornful. Scornful means she finds something. It's for her. It's like worthless. Why? Because she hates school and cannot understand why someone would have to write about school, because Margie is facing a problem from her mechanical teacher. Let's look what's that problem. Here Margie is telling about her mechanical teacher. Her mechanical teacher was black, large, and had screen on it. And it teaches the students, gave them exercises, and asked them questions. What Margie hated the most was the slot where she had to put homework and test papers. Mechanical teacher would calculate the marks in no time. So that was Margie's problem. So she hated school because she had to put homework. There was a slot and she had to put homework and test papers, and within minutes mechanical teacher would calculate marks, and she is having a serious problem with geography. So that's why when Tommy said that the book actually tells about school, she was scornful because she find it as so worthless. Why someone would have to write about a thing which she hates the most, that is school. See, Isaac Asimov was a science fiction writer. So in the story also, he brings a certain elements of science fiction. See, he is bringing in some clues, or it's all his imagination. After all, it's a story. So he is telling that how, so we will be all having a curiosity to know that how this Margie will be putting this test and homeworks in that slot. What might be the slot, and how she will be writing it, as there exists no books and all. How would she be doing that? See, there Asimov have given that clue also. Margie, that is she, had to write them out in punch card, which they made her learn when she was 6. So when Margie was 6, mechanical teacher have taught her to write in punch card. That might be some kind of card which the mechanical teacher would read. Once for geography sector, her teacher was, so this is a problem which she is facing. This is a problem which she is facing, that is, once for geography sector, her teacher was giving her test after test and she was doing worse. So that was her problem with geography, that is, her mechanical teacher for geography is giving her test after test very frequently, and she was not able to study and her grades were going lower. That was her Margie's problem, and all the more she hates school. Mrs. Johns, I have said Mrs. Johns was Margie's mother. Mrs. Johns, Margie's mother, sent for county inspector to fix the problem. He rebuilt it after 1 hour. He was really nice to Margie. He fixed the mechanical teacher to suit with Margie's level. See, that's how, how for Isaac Asimov's imagination things is actually gonna work. When she cannot cope up with the teacher, one man was sent to the house to fix the teacher. That is, he is named as county inspector. He is someone who is going to fix the mechanical teacher according to the student's will. For now, in 2020, we haven't reached that far because no one can fix the teacher which teaches you. That's me. Okay, if here this is a mechanical teacher, so one have to come in and will be fixing the teacher according to the student's level. So here Mrs. Johns sent for county inspector. He rebuilt the mechanical teacher for geography within 1 hour and fixed the mechanical teacher according to Margie's pace. Margie could not cope up with the teacher's speed, so the county inspector came into their home and fixed the mechanical teacher so that it would come in pace with Margie. While thinking about her boring school, she asked Tommy, why would anyone write about school? So in the book which they are reading, it's about school. So all this thing was actually Margie was thinking about why someone has to write about school, because for her school is something which she hates the most. Tommy laughingly says that it is not about our kind of school, but about a school that existed centuries ago. Lawfully means in a superior way, someone which is having a knowledge in a superior way, because Tommy thinks that he knows better than Margie. So he says that a stupid girl, it's not about our kind of school, but about the school that existed centuries ago. They find that back then they didn't have the regular teacher. Regular teacher, regular for Margie and Tommy. For them, the regular teacher is a mechanical teacher. So they find that back then they didn't have the regular teacher. It was a man who taught the girls and boys. gave them homework, and asked them questions. Margie couldn't believe that a man can be smart enough to be a teacher. So, Tommy says that it's about a school which existed centuries ago, and after they both, Tommy and Margie, they are both reading the book, and they find that it's not like the regular teacher. Please keep in note that regular teacher, for them it's a mechanical teacher. Okay, didn't have the regular teacher, it was man. They were surprised, and Margie couldn't believe that a man can be a teacher. For her, according to a 12-year-old girl who is in 2057, she could not believe that a man was smart enough to be a teacher. Students, so this was the end of the part 1. So we end up with Margie. Students, this is the end of the part 1 of the video, first part of the video. So we end the video with Margie's excitement to know that a man, once there existed man as a teacher. She could not believe that man was as smart as to be a teacher. So the rest of the story would be in the next part of the video. Words to remember, that is Crinkly. Crinkly was about a description which was given about the book, that means with folds and lines. Attic, storeroom. Scornful, Margie was scornful when she heard that the book contains things about school, that is showing you think something is worthless. Slot is a given space, time, or position. Geared, that is the mechanical teacher geared the county inspector geared the mechanical teacher according to the level of Margie. Geared means getting adjusted to a particular level of standard. Lawfully, Tommy says lawfully to Margie that the school is about centuries back. Lawfully means in a superior way. So keep these words in mind. Read the textbook till that part. Next video will be on the next part of the chapter, will be on the next video. Thank you students for listening. See you soon on the next video.